That's chaos theory.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Cretaceous Campcast. I am Cretaceous Dave, and this is a podcast all about Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous and Jurassic World Chaos Theory. Before I get into today's episode, just a couple of quick chaos theory thoughts and notes, as well as a couple of brief podcast updates. First, on the topic of chaos theory, some people have had time to rewatch and digest and process the teaser trailer, and something I'm seeing more frequently come up now. I think Kia may have been the first one I saw mention it, but the more I think about it, the more I'm on board with it, and that is the theory that the T-Rex sequence we see at the beginning of the teaser is actually the intro for the show. The more I thought about it, the more it makes sense. Camp Cretaceous had the T-Rex busting through the gate and then roaring, so it makes sense that Chaos Theory would have the T-Rex disrupting traffic and then roaring. It also separates that scene from the rest of the show, where Darius doesn't have to be in Oregon if those scenes would be tied together. It also means the show doesn't have to be happening exactly at the same time as the Dominion prologue. So, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on that. I kind of think that is the intro to the show now, after reading about it and thinking about it more. And the second note I have about Chaos Theory, not going to mention a name, but earlier this week, a voice actor from Camp Cretaceous, who has not been confirmed to be returning to Chaos Theory, tweeted out and posted on Instagram the teaser trailer. This got everybody all crazy, everybody saying, "Oh, welcome back, character name," and then poof, deleted. The voice actor deleted both posts. I guess they either jumped the gun, maybe they were asked to remove it because they weren't confirmed or weren't supposed to say they were in the show. Maybe they were just in support of, Darius coming back, and they're like, "Hey, I worked with him before, I want to show support." But either way, something to keep an eye on, and I'm guessing once we know a little bit more, either with some official news from DreamWorks or possibly a full-length trailer in a month or two, whenever that might be coming, maybe we'll find out if this character's returning, but it definitely had a lot of people excited. I'm sure the info's out there. If you haven't seen it or you don't know about it, you can go searching. I'm not going to be the one to spill it. Next, a couple of quick podcast notes. First, I have some brand new custom music being composed for the podcast. I've got an intro as well as some background music, and it is being composed by Brooks Leiby. If that name is familiar to you, that's because he did all of the score for Tales from a Jurassic World. On the topic of Tales from Jurassic World, if you haven't listened to that series, I highly recommend you go find it. It's both on YouTube and on the Jurassic Park podcast page. Tom Jurassic did an incredible job with writing, directing, producing. The voice actors are amazing. The music is beautiful. The whole series is just great. So if you haven't listened to it, please go check out Tales from a Jurassic World. And if you enjoy the music in that, I think you're probably going to enjoy the stuff Brooks is cooking up for me in his lab. And the second note is, in the next day or two, I should have something really, really cool being sent my way. This is just kind of a tease. I don't even want to give too many details about it, just in case things completely fall apart. But I'm so excited about what I'm probably getting in the next day or two. I don't know to the extent of what's going to be going on, but hopefully it's something really cool I could share with you guys like super, super soon. So pumped about it. That's all I'm going to tease about that. Anyway, on to this episode. You may notice background looks a little different, don't have my microphone. I decided to do something a little bit different. Yesterday I had the idea of something I want to call random rewatch. So what I'm going to do is once a week, hopefully, on my lunch break at work, I'm going to come out to my car and I'm going to use a random number generator, pick a random season and a random episode in that season. And I'm going to rewatch it, and then I'm going to talk to you guys about it. This week's random rewatch is Season 5, episode 2. Sorry for people that don't enjoy seasons 4 and 5, but hey, it's not up to me, it's up to the random number generator. There isn't a lot of the stuff in this episode that people don't like about season 5. There are some Brad X's, but they're not overwhelming. They're not all over the place and being all goofy and crazy. And it's the first introduction of the perfected mind control chip. So you don't have fist bumping dinosaurs or them doing all crazy weird stuff or anything like that. But I'll get into that stuff. I'm not going to do a full as it goes episode breakdown. Just kind of want to give my thoughts on some bits of the episode and some things I think that kind of stand out. The episode starts with, Sammy and Yaz all happy. They're not running from danger. They have this nice breakfast. Basically, they were conned by Mr. Khan. But Darius and Brooklyn aren't buying it. They are super, super skeptical, as they should be. And the episode kind of breaks into two different stories. There's Darius and Brooklyn trying to figure out what Daniel Khan is up to. And then there's Sammy and Yaz, who are planning and preparing Kenji's first official date with Brooklyn. And then there's Kenji, who's kind of focused on the date and then also about his dad. He kind of falls more into the storyline with the girls, though, for the purpose of me just splitting it up into two. First thing I want to talk about is Darius and Brooklyn. They start, planning, like, hey, we need to figure out what Daniel's up to, where he's going. Ben overhears the whole thing, so he joins in with them. First thing, once they're getting close, Daniel sees them, and he sends May out to kind of shoo them away. And, it makes sense because they trust her, and they immediately think, like, what's up with her? Why is she acting so weird? Stuff like that. But being the clever person she is, she dropped a hint to them about, hey, go look here for something. I can't tell you what's going on, but something's going on. So she mentioned sending Firecracker to the nursery. The kids connected together like, hey, she's telling us to go to the nursery. Isn't Cash in the nursery? Because if you remember, Cash was captured and put in there excuse me previously, but Daniel took him back out because he wants Cash and Dr. Turner to work on perfecting the mind control chips. He has investors coming. He needs to show them what tech he's got and what he's got going on. Kids show up at the nursery. There's a Brad X guarding it. Hey, he wasn't there before. Why is he guarding Cash? Found out he wasn't guarding Cash. He was stopping people from finding out Cash wasn't there. So kids leave, and then they discover that the mind control chips are working, and Big Edie is surrounded by the drones. They're there to try to just keep her in place while Cash does his thing. It is an incredibly heartbreaking scene. It's the first time we see the chips fully work, particularly on a large dinosaur. We saw it, work with Firecracker, but when they tried to chip the Spino in season 4, it didn't work. It is just so disheartening to see this animal struggling, trying to do its own thing, and it's not able to do it. And the kids are just so heartbroken about it. And you can see just the terror in Dr. Turner's face. And Cash is just all with his game controller. He's happy and he thinks it's the greatest thing ever. It's just sad, just terrible. Hated watching it. It's watching Firecracker in season 4 was really heartbreaking. This was super heartbreaking too. Related to that, one of the best lines in the season, I don't remember it word for word, but Daniel says something to Cash to the effect of, if you get your job done, you'll get what you deserve. I forget exactly what he said. And boy, Cash got the job done. He got the mind control chips working. He also definitely got what he deserved, because later in the season, he gets killed by the Raptors. That's what he deserves for mistreating and abusing these animals the way he did with these mind control chips. Thought that line was perfect. At the time, your first watch on it, you don't really know. You're like, oh, he's going to be rewarded. He's going to get paid. No, he's getting eaten. Cash got what he deserved. The tail end of their story, after they see that, they try to get back. Brooklyn's trying to get back in time for her date with Kenji. Daniel is being manipulative, and he's basically playing Kenji. And he doesn't want Kenji to have his date with Brooklyn. He doesn't want Kenji to trust his friends. He wants Kenji to work with him. So when he sees them trying to go back, he'll do everything he can to stop them, to make sure Brooklyn's late, Brooklyn doesn't get to the date. He sends the Raptors out. He sends the drones to block them so that the Raptors don't kill the kids, but he sends them out, they're blocking the kids' path. Kids kind of find a way around. They're working their way across the drones. The Raptors are right there, so they can't hustle through, they can't get by quickly, they kind of just have to go around the perimeter. Then when they get to the building where they're ready to go back in, Daniel's like, nope. He steps up the game and he uses the drones to send little Edie out there, and little Edie is guarding the door. And it is a pretty intense scene because the kids have this small sliver between the wall of the building and then where the drones are blocking Big Edie. So it's pretty awesome. The kids are standing here and Big Edie's like right there, all up in their face. Definitely almost had some snacks, you know. And then by the time Brooklyn gets in, Kenji's already gone. She sees what he set up. Everybody's disappointed. So now I'll kind of rewind and go back to the other side of what's going on in this episode. And Kenji's want to plan his first real date with Brooklyn, and Yaz and Sammy decide to help. They're kind of, you know, going back and forth. They have different ideas, and, you know, Kenji's like, no, keep it simple. Brooklyn likes simple. What's in this box? That's all you're using. So the girls set up this beautiful light display and some simple things. Kenji comes with the yellow flower, like, what, you couldn't find pink? Everybody assumed pink was Brooklyn's favorite color, but Kenji's like, no, yellow's her favorite color, which Brooklyn then confirms later on. But all while this is going on, Daniel keeps coming back and forth with Kenji, like, hey, you want to help me with the investors? Oh, you have a date with Brooklyn? And then he brings him a suit, so he's going to look all nice. He's not wearing his, you know, ratty blue shirt that he's been wearing for 6+ months or however long at this point. And he's basically just trying to get into his head, manipulate him, being the evil, evil man he is. We really saw his evil come out in this episode. I just really dislike that guy. But, you know, with him preventing Brooklyn from getting there in time, he's like, you know, he plants the seed for that earlier when he says, just showing up shows that you care. He originally meant that for Kenji, like, hey, you just showing up for the date shows her that you care. That's enough. Just show up. And that's, you know, now sitting in Kenji's head, like, well, she doesn't show up, so maybe she doesn't care. And, you know, Daniel told him, well, I saw her with Ben and Darius. They look like they were having a good time. So now Kenji's going to grow to resent them. And in the back of his head, like, doesn't Brooklyn care? So he decides, hey, I'm just going to go to this investor talk with my dad. And he's sharing his Toro story. He's basically making fun of Darius, you know, calling him a kid, saying he saved his life and all that stuff. So it's unfortunate, and you see the start of the fracture between Kenji and the rest of the campers, which, you know, if you've watched the season, well, if not, I'm spoiling it, but you know, they kind of really break apart as the season goes on, and then at the very end, they come back together. And then the very final scene, we see Darius's brother talking to somebody like, hey, nobody wants to respond. The police, the FBI, this Coast Guard, Marines. I don't remember everybody he rattles off. And then we hear a familiar voice, and we see Dave and Roxy on a video call. And it's our first introduction of Dave and Roxy since season 1. And it's awesome because we know later in the season, they go and help Bran to go back to the island and find the kids and rescue them. If you don't remember, previously Darius got a hold of Cash's phone and called his brother real quick, but he wasn't able to really say anything. Bran just like, Darius? And that's what prompted him to start calling everybody like, he's still alive. I gotta go rescue my brother. Yeah, and that's how the episode ended. So I hope you enjoyed my quick thoughts and recap on season 5, episode 2 of my random rewatch. It's probably nothing new to anybody, just something I kind of thought of I wanted to do, pick a random episode and talk about it for a few minutes, and that's about it. Excuse me again. So keep your eyes on both my Twitter and Instagram, and hopefully something really cool is going to be coming down in the next day or two. I'll share what I could. It might be something integrated into an episode, but if not, it'll just be something I share by itself. I don't know. really looking forward to it. So I'm excited about it. So I really hope it happens, because I hope you guys are excited about it too, and will be as happy about it once I finally get to share it with you all. So that's it for this time. Let's see what sorry, it's a month after being sick and still have a cough that I cannot control. We'll see what next Random Rewatch brings us, and if I have any other ideas or topics come up for episodes in the meantime. So everybody take care of yourselves out there, stay safe, stay Jurassic, and I'll see you all next time. What's up, guys? Just a small amendment to the video. When I was going back through and listening to it while I was editing, I realized when I was talking about the kids sneaking around the building to try to get inside, even though I said Little Edie at first, I then kept saying Big Edie, Big Edie. I mentioned it a couple times. Just want to be clear, it was Little Edie, not Big Edie, that was blocking them from getting back into the building. All right, that's all I needed. Once again, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.